I'm in Ghana country north of Adelaide, visiting a couple of vets whose passion for animals is matched by their passion for gardening. Their rule is they plant what they like, and by the looks of it, they really like Japanese maples. Originally from South Africa, Alana and Cornell live on a busy street in the suburb of Gawler and have created a garden crammed with variety against the backdrop of their 1920s house. There is so much going on, with a woodland, a meadow and a cottage garden feel. But it's the maples that stand out. So Japanese maples in Adelaide's hot climate are certainly not an easy thing. How have you managed to grow them so successfully?
It's a warning we always get when we go to nurseries and we pick up a maple, but I find them quite tolerant, actually. They just need a little bit of time to adapt to our conditions and, of course, planting them in the right spot or in containers to be able to move them around.
They don't like afternoon hot sun by any means, but they do like morning sun. And they've gone through some tough, hot summers here.
The warmest temperature we've recorded here was 49, and they actually came out better than most of our plants, so they're incredible trees.
Because you've positioned them so they only get morning sun and you've grouped them together, does that change the conditions in the garden?
Most definitely. We do have them in sheltered areas, Sophie, and as you can see, it's quite a leafy garden here. The microclimate is really excellent for them. They've also helped create that microclimate, and you'll see a lot of Japanese maples close to other trees and other Japanese maples. They seem to like having foliage and that evaporative cooling around them. It makes them do better.
How many different types have you got?
Currently 23 maples at last count.
Wow, and they're Japanese maples and other types?
So that's just the Japanese maples. There's a few other ones too, but for them I've lost count.
And what are the other sorts of maples?
So there's a few Freeman maples, that's the stars of our front garden, and then we've got a Acer rubrum, a red maple, in the back garden.
So where did this obsession with Japanese maples come from?
A trip to Japan. They're such a beautiful tree that I think once you notice them, and of course the incredible variety, I think the secret with them always is you get one and then you see there's literally hundreds of different ones.
Now, with these plants that are quite large in pots, I would imagine watering would be a big issue with them.
That's right, Sophie, especially the more decorative ones do dry out. But if you mulch them well and you incorporate compost and enrich the soil, they retain their water much better.
But it also keeps your house cooler by having all these trees around.
Most definitely. With all the trees in our garden, they need water, and I'd rather put the water on the garden than just run it through the aircon. And they give back to us by giving us luscious evaporative cooling that just comes right through the house. It's divine in summer.
It's absolutely counterintuitive, but our water use has gone down through the years. So we're very happy with that, and I think that's because of the microclimate that we've created.
It sounds crazy, but it's less damp, it's less cold. We have a warmer house in winter, we have a cooler house in summer.
So this garden really is all about the trees, isn't it?
It absolutely is, Sophie. And as beautiful as this part of the garden is, we have so much more at the back we'd love to show you. Please come in. Meadow and our woodland.
Oh, my goodness. What an amazing copse of birches. How many have you got here?
There's 11 of them, believe it or not.
This is such an amazing space. It feels like you're being hugged.
Absolutely does, Sophie. I love this. It's probably my favourite part of the garden. It makes you feel like you're in a magic forest.
So growing silver birches on the northern Adelaide Plains, which is hotter than Adelaide, I mean, these are a cool climate forest plant, so you don't find them growing well out here. What's your secret?
I think the secret was crowding them together. They kind of look after each other after a while. Of course, good soil is the other thing, but they've just shot up.
And how big did they go in? Did you plant big specimens?
No, they were just saplings, but I think that was the key to their vigour, Sophie, really. A bit of mushroom compost, and we watered them really well in the first year, and they just kept growing.
And they've created a true woodland environment. I mean, you've got amazing cool climate plants like Corydalis, which is hard to grow well at the best of times, thriving.
Absolutely, and also things like hellebores, hydrangeas, things we never thought we'd be able to have. But again, it's creating that microclimate.
And the birds love it. We're getting more species every year.
Wonderful. And when you water, how long would you water here for? How often?
I put a sprinkler on to cover the whole woodland for 1 hour, maybe once or twice a week in the peak of summer.
For a small garden, you've got so many different areas. And this is beautiful too. This is quite different to the woodland. Now, I notice that there's no lawn.
Well, I decided I wasn't going to push a lawnmower around, so we decided rather to grow the sort of meadow grasses, which I think just gives us such nice texture and look in
And
the
much more
garden.
natural looking too.
Absolutely.
Now, what are the different grasses you've got here?
They're mostly natives. Australian tussock grass, which is native to South Australia, the lomandras, or the lovely lime greens, and the carricks. They require no water. And then we also have the feathergrass, the pennisetum here, just because I love the plumes. And they're actually from South Africa, so as long as you plant the sterile ones and they're not a weed, they're just lovely in this garden. They give me memories of the veld where I've grown up in South Africa, and horses and wide skies, and it's very close to my heart. So for here we have our fire pit area where we like to come and have our drinks and get out of the wind.
Isn't it gorgeous? With the old recycled bricks.
That's right, these are reclaimed antique bricks, and we just love the look of them and how well they go with the grasses and the house and all the trees.
Now, I noticed that you've got lots of rounded shapes and curvy paths rather than straight paths.
That was no accident. We kind of planned it that way because the garden's quite small. It slows you down as you move through the garden, and not having any sort of straight edges to it just makes it look that little bit bigger.
How important is this garden to you?
Oh, absolutely important. It's a sanctuary for us. It's a place for us to spend time together. It keeps us fit, it keeps us healthy. It's very much a part of our lives.
It is, and it's been such a creative project as well, and it's taken a life of its own, and it's exceeded our expectations by miles.